Welcome to Triviaviral. Our channel covers all the latest analysis and recaps on TV shows and movies, as well as interesting stories and facts that you may not have known. So sit back, relax, and subscribe to our channel if you have been enjoying our videos so far. In May 1990, a man graduated with high honors from Emory University. Shortly afterwards, he rejects his conventional life by destroying all of his credit cards and identification documents. He donates nearly his entire savings of $24,000 to Oxfam and sets out on a cross-country drive in his well-used yet reliable Datsun to experience life in the wilderness. However, he does not tell his parents or his sister what he is doing or where he is going, and refuses to keep in touch with them after his departure, leaving them to become increasingly anxious and eventually desperate. This video is sponsored by QD. QD is Asia's largest platform for students, tutors, and coaches to find and book lessons online or offline, all from a single platform. Sign up at QD today. At Lake Mead, the automobile is caught in a flash flood, forcing him to abandon it and begin hitchhiking. He burns what remains of his dwindling cash supply and assumes a new name, Alexander Supertramp. In Northern California, he encounters a hippie couple. The man tells him about his failing relationship with the man's girlfriend, which he would rekindle. By September, he stops in Carthage, South Dakota to work for a contract harvesting company, but he is forced to leave after the owner is arrested for satellite piracy. He then travels to the Colorado River, and though he is told by park rangers that he may not kayak down it without a license, he ignores their warnings and paddles downriver until he eventually arrives in Mexico. There, his kayak is lost in a dust storm. Unable to get a ride, he starts traveling by a freight train to Los Angeles. Not long after arriving, however, he starts feeling corrupted by modern civilization and decides to leave. Later, he is forced to switch his traveling method back to hitchhiking after he is beaten by a railroad bull. In December 1991, he arrived at Slab City in the Imperial Valley of California and encountered the couple again. There he meets a teenager who falls for him. After the holidays, he decides to continue heading for Alaska, much to everyone's sadness. While camping near Salton City, California, he encounters a retiree who recounts the story of the loss of his family in a car accident while he was serving in the army. He now occupies his time in a workshop as an amateur leather worker. The retired man teaches him the craft of leatherwork, resulting in the making of a belt that details his travels. After spending several months with the retired man, he decides to leave for Alaska despite the upset of the retired man, who has become quite close to him. On parting, the retired man gives him the retired man's old camping and travel gear along with the offer to adopt him as his grandchild. But he simply tells him that they should discuss it after he returns from Alaska, and then departs. Months later at the abandoned bus, life for him becomes harder, he becomes less discerning. As his supplies begin to run out, he realizes that nature is also harsh and uncaring. In the pain of realization, he concludes that true happiness can only be found when shared with others, and seeks to return from the wild to his friends and family. However, he finds that the stream he had crossed during the winter has become wide, deep, and violent due to the thaw, and he is unable to cross. Saddened, he returns to the bus, now as a prisoner who is no longer in control of his fate and can only hope for help from the outside. In a desperate act, he is forced to gather and eat roots and plants, but he confuses similar plants and becomes ill as a result. Slowly dying, he continues to document his process of self-realization and accepts his fate. He imagines his family for one last time. He writes a farewell to the world and crawls into his sleeping bag to die. 2 weeks later, his body was found by moose hunters. Shortly afterwards, his sister returns her brother's ashes by airplane from Alaska to Virginia in her backpack. What are your thoughts about the story? Let us know in the comments section below. Subscribe if you would like to see more similar videos, and give us a thumbs up to get more recommendations of our videos. Be the first to watch the latest videos by clicking the bell icon. See you on the next video.